So could this harsh winter actually be a positive thing for all of those who have allergies like myself? Will we actually see a better spring for those with allergies? Well, we have an expert here with us, Dr. Theresa Bingemann from Rochester Regional Health System. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So you're an allergist,
Yeah.
which means you study what?
So allergists do special training after they do either internal medicine or pediatrics or both. And they do a 2 or 3 year fellowship where you learn to take care of patients with allergies, asthma, eczema, immune deficiencies, and other disorders.
So I think
Okay.
she knows what she's talking about.
Okay, fine.
She does.
We approve of this witness.
She does. So we're all excited about spring, and then if you're like me, you're like, oh, achoo, achoo, achoo. I forgot about this part. I seem to block it out every year. It rolls around, and I'm like, oh. So we've had particularly rough winter. Will that help at all, or does this mean everything's going to maybe bloom at the same time?
So the cold weather is likely to postpone allergy season, as we can all tell, since usually allergy season starts about the last week in March. I suspect it's probably going to start mid-April, maybe the 3rd week in April.
Wow.
So the cold weather is likely to postpone the beginning of the pollination. However, all the moisture may increase the rapidity at which the pollen counts come up.
Oh.
And by rapidity, you mean none of us will have allergies? No, that's interesting. So basically, we are getting a lot of food for the plants
Exactly.
going in.
And so, I mean, the good thing is it will be late. Usually I'm getting a lot of phone calls by the last week in March. Last year it was mid-April. I'm suspecting again mid-April or a little later since, well, nothing's pollinating.
Well, I mean, allergies, and we've been fighting these for, hundreds of years now. Anything new that's come around this year that we should be taking advantage of, or, same old coping mechanisms as before?
So avoidance, of course, is always first line, but some new treatments did come out this last year, were approved by the FDA. So we have oral immunotherapy now for grasses and for ragweed. Most patients would start 12 weeks before the season and continue through the season. So we started a lot of patients for grass in February. So I should say that the trees pollinate first, which is usually from March through June, plus minus, and then the grasses come up in the last week of May, June through about mid-July, and then the weeds come up about August to the first frost.
Okay.
So with the new treatments, what's still available would be able to start the Ragwitech, which is one of the ragweed oral immunotherapy products.
If you don't have a large problem with allergies, but every once in a while you're having a bad day, what do you recommend?
So most people will start with over-the-counter antihistamines. They're inexpensive, they're generally well tolerated, and so it's an easy place to start. You can take them as needed as well.
Okay.
I'm always afraid, though, it's going to knock me out. I'm just going to be a tired mess all day long.
So it helps to start with the non-sedating antihistamines. So the generic non-sedatings would be loratadine, cetirizine, and the fexofenadine. Of those, the cetirizine is the most sedating, but in that case, only about 10% of patients will have sedation.
Okay. So.
All good to know. All good to know. So get ready. The punch may come later, but it may carry a wallop. We'll have to see.
The new therapies you were talking about, should you just talk about that with your primary care, or is that something that only an allergist would know about?
Usually, they have marketed, I believe, to primary care as well, but usually you'll need either a positive skin test or blood test for those allergens. So since this is the first year it's broadly available, it's probably best to discuss it with your allergist.
All right.
Good. Thank
Dr.
you so
Bingemann,
much.
thank you so much.
Thanks
Spring
for
will
having
come.
me.
Yes,
it will happen.
eventually. So will the headlines.
Yes, they're coming up next.